Hey foodie friends, so today we're gonna make a delicious summery salad. We're gonna use some cantaloupe and some feta cheese, so let's get saucy. All right, foodie friends, like I said, a summery salad. I know it's the end of summer or maybe a little past the end of summer, but I'm trying to hold on. And you know, it's always warm here in Florida. So I have half a cantaloupe already in my bowl and I've got some cucumber here, an English cucumber, and I'm just gonna cut it on a little bit of a bias, cut some slices of it and throw those in here with my cantaloupe. Now, you know, you see a lot of salads like this with watermelon. And I just wanted to do a nice play on it with the cantaloupe. There wasn't any watermelon at the store when I went, so I saw this beautiful cantaloupe and I grabbed it. So like I said, that's half of a cantaloupe in there. And again, cutting this cucumber just kind of on the bias. And I think I'm actually gonna cut these slices in half as well, so they're a little bit more manageable. This is gonna be a super refreshing, hydrating salad, you know, which would be great if, you know, this was summer and you wanted to take this to the beach or something. You know, it's gonna be hot out there. It would be great to help keep you hydrated. So you can do, again, watermelon, honeydew, any melon would be great with this. The sweetness of the melon with the kind of saltiness of the feta cheese. And we're gonna throw in some mint here too. I'm just going to pop this right up here. I'm just gonna pull some of these beautiful whole mint leaves right off of here and throw them in. You could do a chiffonade of these if you wanted to, but why? You know, just get the whole mint leaf in there. You could also put this on top of a pile of like arugula if you wanted to add some more greens to it. I'm not gonna do that. And then I'm gonna dress it with my lemon vinaigrette I have here that I had made previously for another salad. Now, you could dress this with just simply with some olive oil and some balsamic vinegar, or even if you wanted to add a little bit more sweetness like a balsamic glaze to dress this with, that would be delicious. So super simple, super quick, but also refreshing. This would be, again, like I said, a great side dish for any summery kind of barbecue or something like that that you were going to. Or again, if you're like me and you're trying to hold on to the end of summer, make it now, make it, you know, September, October, until you can't find the melon anymore in the store, right? So I think I'm gonna be good on my mint here. Again, super simple, we're not doing much here. It's just kind of throwing things in and mixing it. I didn't want to make you watch me break down the melon completely, so I just did that off camera. But I'm gonna get this in here, and then I'm gonna get my dressing in, and I'm gonna go ahead and dress it and toss it, and then I'm gonna add the feta, because I don't want the feta to break up too much. I want it to kind of stay in nice kind of big pieces. Of course, we all know how I love to make a mess when I'm doing this in front of everyone on camera, so let me actually go ahead and just give this a good shake. All right, there we go, that looks good. So just a little bit of this dressing. I don't want to overdo the dressing. So again, this is just a lemon vinaigrette, but you could just do olive oil and lemon juice, or you could do, like I said, olive oil and balsamic vinegar, however you want to do it. I'm gonna give this a little bit of a toss. Just get all of our cucumber and melon coated with that dressing and kind of mix those mint leaves in throughout. This smells really good already. And I'm going to get my, that dressing is so good. Now I've got my feta here. However you want to do your feta, you know, you could crumble it, you could cube it up. I think I'm going to try to cube it and keep it in as nice of pieces as I can, mixing it in here. So I'm going to probably use about half of this block. This is what? This is about 1.25 pounds, I think, this piece is. So cut this into some nice kind of planks here, and then some cubes, maybe half this again, and cut it into like, I don't know, 4, 8 cubes each one. And then I'm gonna give this one more kind of gentle toss after the feta is in here. Again, I don't want to break this up too much, and I don't want to muddy the salad. You know, I don't want it to look kind of, well, muddy. You know, when you get that cheese kind of mixing in there and breaking up too much, it just kind of mutes everything down. And I want this to be beautiful because, you know, we eat with our eyes first. So I'm gonna move this out of my way and just give this, like I said, a gentle toss now that the feta cubes are in here. And I mean, it's just as simple as that, you know? I mean, this is ready to go. You could make this ahead of time, get it chilled down in the fridge. My melon wasn't cold, but my cucumber and mint were both in the fridge, and my dressing was chilled. So I'm gonna get this plated up on a nice plate, and then we'll come back and give it a taste. And there it is. It's just absolutely beautiful and looks so pretty, and it's gonna be so refreshing. I'm gonna grab a fork real quick and get a taste. So get a little bit of everything. Make sure I get some of that mint and cucumber, and of course a piece of feta and cantaloupe. It's a big bite, but I think I can get it. Absolutely delicious. The crunch of the cucumber, the sweetness of the cantaloupe with the saltiness of the feta and the creaminess, that little bit of lemon vinaigrette. I finished it with a sprinkle of some kosher salt on top too. Salt and melon pair so wonderfully together. You know, if you wanted to, you could crisp up some prosciutto and crumble that on top of here. That would be delicious too. But I think it's amazing just the way it is. So thanks as always for joining me on Getting Saucy with Chef Lynn. There will be a link to the full written recipe in the description box below. You can follow me across all social media at Chef Lynn Wheeler. My website is cheflynnwheeler.com. That's where you can find most of my recipes. And remember, keep exploring, keep tasting, and keep celebrating the flavors that bring us together.